what are the main components of a VSP, vertical shoot positioning system? Like what are you looking at to define it as a VSP?
The main thing you'll see before we go to the next system, so these are a highway post. There are different posts. We decided to go, we go with a 12 gauge highway post. You can tell there's notches in them. So one, we do have, this is your drip tubing. It's Netafilm. All the emitters are actually built inside. So we have our drip tubing here. With the notches, it's really nice. So this is actually your cordon wire. So cordon will train along here. But then the notches here are every 6 inches. And once again, earlier we talked about how the catch wires, we can actually move them. So we'll start them here through early in the season. It's very simple, economic. They can move it up. And that's what we like about these. If you have just cross arms, you're sort of set. You can't move the catch wires. We found it's actually easier as the canopy's growing, it's out, you can just move it versus go through and actually hand tuck. Much easier to move hand wires, much more economical than tucking.
So it grows with the vineyard itself as it matures.
Because eventually this top catch wire, we may have it as high as up to here, depending on, a lot of times we're trying to get the shoots 3 feet just to be able to mature the fruit. Ultimately, it's going to be on the top just a little bit.
So these catch wires sandwich those shoots that are coming out of all these spurs off the cordon?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I said, and it's just, all it's doing is just holding it. If we didn't have it, if you did not have these catch wires, you would have more of a California sprawl. Now, a lot of times they will have just one set here, so the shoots will come out. And they'll just sprawl out. And that's a whole nother system. There is some around in the high plains. A lot of what you see is a VSP system.
So this is going to look kind of high and tight, sort of compact. What are the advantages of having a canopy like that, or disadvantages? It seems like you wouldn't get a whole lot of protection from the canopy in the fruiting zone down there.
Well, you don't get necessarily protection, but you can control the sunlight.
Gotcha.
So as you see, if you have that canopy, we go through, we pull leaves, we can control exactly all the sunlight exposure. If not, if that canopy's drooped over, then we're starting to get into issues of how do we get that sunlight. And also, you start talking about fungicide sprays. We get those late rains, that fruit's right there, we can penetrate those sprays right where we need to.
Okay. What all are you able to mechanize within a VSP system? Is it just spraying, or what else can you do?
So of course, we can't always mechanically pre-prune. I do not have one. You still can mechanically desucker. They do have brushes that can go along. Right now we don't have anything pushing, but you will see suckers along, so instead of pulling by hand, they can go along there. And then of course, you can hedge. So on this VSP, if you've ever been to Napa, they're perfect. So we actually have a hedger, blades on both sides, blade on top, and it'll hedge it. Once again, that's helping with sunlight exposure.
And you can't do that on a VSP system also, then?
Yes, so hedging a lot of times is on a VSP system.
Okay, all right.
So what you're not able to do is that final prune, like you've got right here, right? You still got to go back with hand labor and make sure you get all your bud counts correct.
That is correct. They do make a precision pruner that will get pretty close to getting that final, but when you're needing to, in this situation we do have some bud loss, so we're going to leave an extra spur, but it would leave all the spurs. So when you go to clean out, for a hand width, you would actually still have to chop that out.
Okay.
It does help, but you still have to put hands on it every single year.